job, I started having these extreme attacks. They'd go on for a day or two, and then they disappear. But it was causing a lot of problems in my life, and it was really difficult for me. By this time, I was really suffering, and I was having to spend a lot of time at the doctor's trying to get some reassurance. My panic attacks, they were getting so bad. I was terrified to leave the house. It was really frightening. My mom, the only place I would let her take me was to the doctor's and back, and it was just really terrifying. The doctor put me on some antidepressants, and I stayed on them for about 3 weeks, but I just couldn't stand the side effects. They were really awful, so I had to go off. After things got really bad, a friend told me about the Linden method. So I ordered the method pack and I started work on it right away, and the relief was instant. I really related to Charles's story, and that helped so much. I felt like a great weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And now, 3 months later, I only have memories of my panic attacks and my anxiety, and that I just can't thank you enough for that.
Since childhood, I've always been anxious, and about 10 years ago, I really started suffering with anxiety and panic attacks, but sort of got a little bit better. On a couple of occasions, I've actually been to the accident and emergency room, convinced that I had suffered a heart attack, which, of course, in the end turned out that I hadn't. And these panic attacks would come out of nowhere. I would be home relaxing, and suddenly my heart would start racing, and I would call the emergency services and be taken to hospital and feel really stupid afterwards. I discovered the Linden method while browsing for treatment for anxiety disorders. I've been seeing a psychologist for a number of years, and I never really felt I got anywhere with that, and I was very frustrated. After I got the pack, I started reading the manual. I felt an immediate relief in knowing that I wasn't the only one suffering with anxiety. The improvement in my condition was gradual and happened over several weeks until the point where I am today, when I'm completely anxiety-free.
Hi, I'm Charles Linden. First of all, I want to welcome you to my website and to this page about panic attacks. Now, maybe in the past you've been told things about panic attacks, like, for example, that you've got to learn to live with your anxiety, and that your anxiety is incurable, and that coping strategies are the only things that you can learn to overcome your panic attacks for the future. This just isn't true. If it was true, thousands of my panic attack sufferers, my clients who've been to us for assistance with their anxiety disorders, wouldn't be well today. Now, we've helped over 100,000 people, well over 100,000 people, to cure their anxiety and panic attacks. And how have we done that? Well, the first thing you have to understand is that you're not ill. You're not mentally or physically ill in any way. Anxiety and panic attacks are caused by a shift in the way the brain processes anxious signals from your body. Now, the whole process is very, very simple. It's a learning process. And what happens is your first catalyst, the first anxious catalyst, creates an anxious response in the flight or fight response. And I'm sure you've heard about this a lot before. But the point is that, no matter how it manifests itself in you, that anxious catalyst has no bearing on your future. But when the anxious habit then becomes instilled in you, and becomes so instilled in you that constantly you experience high levels of anxiety on a daily basis, you can create panic attacks and panic disorder and all of the associated symptoms and thoughts that go with those disorders. Now, I hate the word disorder, because the word disorder implies some sort of illness. It's not an illness. It's a resetting of a very core part of your anxious response mechanism. Now, what we do is we help you to reverse that. And we've done that with over 100,000 people. Now, some people will claim cures. And there's CBT and hypnotherapy and NLP and all of these buzzwords around cures for anxiety and other conditions. But panic attacks can be cured very, very simply. And we've shown that tens of thousands of times. And when I discovered this process that I used for myself, I was cured in days. In fact, the next day I didn't have a panic attack, and I haven't had a panic attack since. Why? Because I got it. And what we do is we provide you with a supportive, structured and informative program of recovery from panic attacks that will cure you. It never fails if you do it. And that is the only key word, if, If you do it, it will work, and there is no doubt. And we don't stop until it does work or until you give up. And we've shown with over 100,000 clients that our panic attacks elimination method, the Linden method, will help cure you completely. So if you decide you want to join the Linden method, please use the link at the bottom of this page, because what I've done is I've connected that link to a page where you will get a free DVD called Conquer Panic and Panic Disorder with Charles Linden. And it's a feature-length program about how you can overcome your panic attacks quickly. And that'll be included free in the Linden method pack. So just to recap, panic attacks can be cured quickly. Fact. We have the evidence, we have the proof of over 100,000 people that we've helped. And I have personal experience of overcoming panic attacks, and that's how I developed this method. And if you want to overcome panic attacks, get rid of your anxiety completely, and I mean complete elimination, then you need to follow this method. Good luck.